and gentlemen, thank you for joining the Adrien Broner versus Adrian Granados media conference call. Your host for today, Kelly Swanson, will begin.
Thank you. Thanks, operator. Thanks, media, for joining us. We are here today to talk about the big matchup on Saturday, February 18th, Adrian Broner versus Adrian Granados from the Cintas Center at Xavier University in Cincinnati, and it will headline a Showtime Championship boxing event. The event is promoted by About Billions Promotion and Mayweather Promotions in association with TGB Promotions. Tickets for the live event start at $30 and are still available to purchase through Ticketmaster. And the event is sponsored by Corona Extra, Live Cerveza Mas Fina. Before we get to the participants, I'm going to introduce Chris de Blasio, Senior Vice President of Sports Communications at Showtime Networks, to talk a little bit about the Showtime portion of the show. Chris?
Thanks, Kelly, and thank you to the fighters for being on and to all the press for joining. The Showtime Championship Boxing Winter Schedule rolls on. As we had announced last October, our promise to our subscribers and to fight fans was that we would pit the top-rated fighters against top-rated fighters in the deepest and most talent-laden divisions in boxing, and so far we have seen spectacular results. Of just a brief recap, back in December we saw Jermall Charlo in a brutal knockout win over Julian Williams. We saw Abner Maris reassert himself against Jesus Cuellar and win a world title back. At the turn of the year on Jan 14th, we witnessed a thrilling super middleweight championship unification bout. Badu Jack and James DeGale were in a thrilling fight. On the undercard of that event, we saw a breakout performance from Gervonta Davis. He beat Jose Pedraza for his first world title. Davis is now one of the youngest world champions today. And just 2 weeks ago, still fresh in our minds, Leo Santa Cruz won an awesome majority decision over Carl Frampton. That was another fantastic fight at featherweight. And we saw an incredible knockout of the year candidate on that card from resurgent Mikey Garcia. Mikey didn't just knock out another champion, a paper champion of sorts, or any type of middling contender. He beat one of the toughest guys at super lightweight in spectacular fashion. So it's pretty plain to see there's no one making a bigger commitment to the sport of boxing than Showtime. We are consistently delivering the strongest lineup of fights directly to our subscribers, and we appreciate all of you in the press. You guys have made note of that. Our subscribers have responded and tuned in larger number, and we're excited to continue next week on Feb 18th. There's no prohibitive favorite and no look good or stay busy fight on this card. Adrian Broner versus Adrian Granados. Both men are in need of a big win to line up that next world title shot. For Broner, we all know what he's capable of. He's a 4-division world champion and one of the most popular fighters in the sport. He's still in the prime of his career. Adrian Granados is a man who thrives in the underdog role. You can look no further than his stunning upset of Amir Imam last year. Just a bit of housekeeping here. The Showtime telecast is going to air live on the 18th of Feb at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And part of the promotion, many of you may have seen, we encourage you to watch. We had a short video feature that we released yesterday titled The Reveal with Mark Kriegel. This edition was on Adrian Broner. And The Reveal, as you may know, is where Mark sits down with boxing's biggest stars and he engages in candid conversations about life, about motivations and challenges and more. Each of the interviews that Mark does for this series, The Reveal, they're unique as the subject in them. And the one with Adrian Broner is probably the strongest we've produced so far. So, Adrian, thank you for your candor in that, and I encourage all the press to check it out. We'll have one on Adrian Granados available later this week. So with that, I thank you for your time, and turn it back to you, Kelly, so we can get to the fighters.
Thanks so much, Chris. Okay, great. We're going to start with Mr. Broner himself. And before he gets on the line, I just want to say that he is wearing 2 hats, and his company, About Billions, is very busy these days. They have a big fight in Toledo, Ohio, which will be Robert Easter versus Luis Cruz. That's Premier Boxing Champions next round on Bounce at the Huntington Center in Easter's hometown of Toledo, Ohio. That begins at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So Mr. Broner is acting both as a promoter and also preparing for his fight. As Chris mentioned, He's a former four-division world champion and has held world titles at 130, 30, 135, 140, and 147 pounds. He's a thrilling fighter, very, very popular, and I have to say myself watching the reveal that there was a wonderful maturity and self-awareness that I'm so happy that Adrien has come to feel as he works through his own legacy as a boxing champion. So without further ado, let's open it up. Mr. Broner, are you on the call, and could you make some opening comments before we give it to the press? Adrien?
Well, I really ain't got much to say. It's fight time right now, so you can bring them all in, and I'm ready to answer all questions.
Okay, great. Operator, let's go ahead and open it up to the media for questions, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. And I'm waiting for callers to join the queue at this present time. Our first question is going to come from Mitch Aperson from ringtv.com. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks everybody. Hey Adrien, how are you today?
I'm fine.
Good, glad to hear it. So Adrien, your last fight was over a year ago, and you obviously had some trouble making the weight. This fight is at 140 pounds. Again, I mean, how's the weight going, and do you think you'll have any issues making the weight this time around?
Training camp has been great, and like I said before, I'm just ready to fight and ready to go out here and put on a great show for not only for the city but for boxing. And we're going to step it up from here on out.
So you don't expect making 140 pounds to be any issue this time around?
I'm really not worried about the weight right now. You know, it's all about staying focused and putting on great show for boxing.
All right. How different do you feel this time around, Adrien? Your last fight, you had a lot of distractions. There's a warrant out for your arrest. Obviously, that's not the case this time. If you can just describe the feeling now, going into training camp and preparing for this fight, and just talk about what's been so different about this experience compared to the last one.
I've just been more focused, man. You know, less distractions and just tunnel vision.
Do you find that you've been able to be a lot more productive in training because of the less distractions?
I mean, even in my last fight with the distractions, I still got a TKO. So this fight without the distractions, I can only put on a greater show.
Okay. Thanks, Adrien. Good luck.
All right. Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Salvador Rodriguez from ESPN Deportes. Please go ahead.
Hello, Adrian. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Adrian, what is your expectation for this year? Showtime, like Chris said, has a great year, has a great beginning, but what is your expectation with the Showtime for this year?
Well, I don't look past no opponent, or I don't try to look past no fight. So I just take it a fight at a time. And my main focus right now is next week, February 18th.
What is your experience fighting with guys like Adrian Granados that won everything in one fight and lost almost nothing fighting you?
I know he's a tough competitor, world-class fighter, and that's why I picked him, so he can bring the best out of Adrien Broner.
Finally, you're supposed to be fighting for a title match in the next fight. I don't know, 147, 140. What is your project for the next fight? If you win this February 18th.
Right now, like I said before, I'm really not worried about no weight situation. All I want to do is win and put on a great show for my fans.
Thanks so much, Adrian.
All right.
Our next question is going to come from Lam Satterfield from the Premier Boxing Champions. Please go ahead.
Hey, Adrian, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Lam?
Hey, man. Hey, listen, you're 14-0 with 11 outs in Cincinnati, and I was with you 2 years ago in your community, and it just seems like, this is like a return to your roots. I mean, how helpful is it for you to go back, train in your neighborhood, where you came from, and realize where you came from and kind of help you to appreciate what you have now?
It helps a lot, man. It's a humbling situation. Nowadays, I was living a fast life, and I've calmed down a lot, and just coming back home and just seeing everything, it just brings me back down to earth. So I'm in a great mind state right now, and I'm just ready to put on a great show.
Yeah, I mean, I know you've been, particularly kind of hard to get a hold of, and what I keep hearing is that you're training and spending time with your kids, and obviously you're promoting now too. Does knowing where you came from help you kind of to appreciate your kids? I think you had another daughter, and I know your son's birthday is coming up. His second birthday is coming up on the 15th. How has that changed your perspective?
It changed a lot, man. It's not about me anymore. It's about my children, and that's what I base my career off of now, and I'm doing everything for them.
And then, how old is your newest daughter now? How many months?
Yeah, she's 10 months.
Excellent. And then my last question is, you do have this.
No, I'm sorry. She just turned 11 months. I'm sorry.
Okay. And now, do you have any idea what you're going to do on your son's birthday? You got a lot going on. You got a fight tomorrow night, and then you got his birthday on the 15th.
We're actually throwing a party for him after my fight on that Sunday, so that's going to be cool too.
Has that also energized you in a way? It almost seems necessity. When you fought Khabib there, you won the title, you leave, you miss weight, you have some other distractions, but now you come back. It seems like you're kind of re-energizing yourself for another opponent, and you picked a tough opponent. You didn't pick an easy opponent. You picked somebody who knows you and you really need to be on your P's or Q's, or he could make you look bad. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, I just know what I'm doing. To bring out the best Adrien Broner, I gotta have a nice opponent in front of me, and that's why I picked a nice opponent.
Okay, my last question is about the potential for fighting for a title. Does that play into your mind? I know you're focused specifically on this fight, but do you want to make a statement and look good against a guy that maybe nobody has ever stopped this guy? Would that be something you're looking for if you do everything you're training to do?
If you look at my last two fights, nobody never stopped Khabib. Nobody never stopped Ashley Theopain. And if I have a chance to stop Adrian Granados, then I'm going to take it.
Adrian, thanks a lot, and good luck in the fight.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Dan Raphael from ESPN. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hello, Adrian.
Hey, Dan.
Adrian, I watched that interview you did with Mark Kriegel. That was a very interesting piece to watch. I was wondering if you could expound upon just the level of maturity that you feel like you have achieved at this point. You talked about your some of your past issues, your time you spent, the month you had to go back to jail for. Did the maturity come from the time you did during that period of time, or is it just a process of learning as you've gone through various events in your life? Where does what sounds like honest to goodness maturity come from at this point?
Different situations, man, and just wanting to do better and be in better situations. That's all. When you try to do it your way and it don't work, then you got to make the right changes and start following all the right steps.
Do you feel like that at this point of your career and of your life that you've figured out a better way to handle the fame and the money and the stuff that goes along with being a famous athlete that you did maybe a few years ago?
Dan, I was young.
Right.
You know, I'm pretty sure, you know, a lot of people who've been as successful as me, or even more successful than I am today, you know, been through a lot of the same things. And you know, I know one person that have, and that's Floyd Mayweather, and he tells me all the time, you're going to be okay. I've done some of the things you've done before, but it's all about learning from your situations, and that's what I'm doing. I'm learning from my situations, and now it's just time to go up.
So let me ask you then about the fight itself. Granados is a guy that it's, you know, common fact that you guys have sparred a lot of rounds together, and nobody's disputing that you guys have had at various times gotten the better of each other in those sparring sessions. Can you tell me? I don't know. I mean, can you even calculate how many rounds you do with this guy, and how were those sparring sessions to get you ready for a fight against a guy you're so familiar with?
We've done numerous rounds, and I know he's tough as nails, and you know he got to bring it when he come to fight me. So you know I know it got a chance to be a fight of the year type of fight, but you know we'll see once the bell rings.
Could you even estimate how many rounds you did with him?
I can't. I spar a lot. It's a lot. You know, I spar a lot in my training camp, and you know, we definitely win a lot of rounds.
And is it correct to say that at various times you each had the better of one another?
This is boxing. You know, you have good days, you have bad days, but at the end of the day, if you're having more good days than bad days, everything's okay. You're gonna have a day where something happens, or you're just not as focused as you should be, and
go ahead.
a fighter get off. But at the end of the day, man, you know, as long as you do what you got to do, you'll be okay.
Would you say that you and Adrian were friendly with one another? I get the sense that you guys are kind
of course.
Friendly. Yeah, okay.
Of course. I love him. I love him to death.
Okay, gotcha. So this is one of those fights where, and we've seen this lots of times in boxing, where guys are real cool with each other outside the ring. They go and they try to win the fight. They try to do their best, beat the heck out of each other. But when it's over, we're friends again, right?
Of course. He's a stud, man. He's a stand-up guy, man. And you know, anytime he needed me, I was there for him. And you know, it's still the same way today, man.
All right, good enough. Adrian, thank you for your time. Appreciate it, and good luck in the fight.
Hey, we have one more question for Adrian, and then we'll switch to the other Adrian. Last question, operator, for Adrien Broner.
Our next question is going to come from Matthew Paris from the ring. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Adrian. I had a kind of a follow-up question to that. So when you sparred Granados, was there a moment in camp that, you know, kind of got your attention or respect for Granados, but, you know, maybe he was bringing it to camp? Or I understand you talked a lot of trash to him during the camp, but then he kind of matched it back. Can you just kind of expand on that?
What happens in the gym, I try to keep it in the gym, but I can't say every time that we sparred he brung it, every time. And, you know, like I always say, he's a hell of a fighter.
And then, as you know, Ed Browne was shot in December. I was just wondering if you had any thoughts on that. He was pretty close to Granados, and I understand you knew him as well. Do you just have any thoughts?
What'd you say?
What?
Explain. Say your question again.
Oh yeah, I was just wondering what your thoughts were about Ed Browne being shot. He was a fellow boxer.
Ed Browne was a hell of a guy, a special type of talent. I knew him since the amateurs. He was actually a close friend to me, and you know, but at the end of the day, like I told Adrian in camp, it's just some people you can't save everybody. And it was a heartbreaking situation for Adrian, but I was there. I was his shoulder to lean on, and I was there. We got through it, and I tried to make his days better.
Is it true that you owed him $500 in the dice game? You owed Ed Browne money?
Who, Ed?
Yeah.
I think so.
All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. Okay, Adrian, any final thoughts before we let you go? And congratulations on your promotion this Friday night, too. About Billions is making a lot of about noise.
Right now, man, this weekend it's about Rashid Warren and Robert Easter Jr. And, it's going to be a hell of a card. It should be a sold-out event. And then next week we got another electrifying card with great fights on the undercard. And the main event is me, Adrian against Adrian. Adrian with the E and Adrian with the A and A at the end. And the best Adrian shall win.
Great, thank you. That's an awesome statement. Okay, so we're going to let you go because we know you're busy, and we will now have the media talk to Adrian Granados, who's also, Adrian, are you on the line with us now?
Hey, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, could I get you to move a little bit closer to your phone?
Yeah, I'm right here. Can you hear me all right?
All right, that's much better. So, media, we now have the hard-hitting contender, Adrian Granados. He fights out of Chicago, and he enters this bout against Adrien Broner on a five-bout winning streak, including a very impressive stoppage over the then-unbeaten top contender Amir Aman in November of 2015. So, Adrian, I'd like you to make some opening comments about your upcoming bout against Adrien Broner on Saturday, February 18th from Cincinnati and live on Showtime, and then we'll open it up for media questions. Adrian?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say just thank you to God, thank you to my promoter, TGB Promotions, my management team, Journeyman Management, my team here in Chicago, my family, and everyone who supported me. This has been a long time coming and a hard-earned fight. And thank the Lord, I've got this opportunity, and I look to become successful with this fight next Saturday.
Okay, great. Thank you for those comments. And let's go ahead, operator, and open it up for media questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. And I'm waiting for callers to join the queue.
Thank you, Coach.
Our first question is going to go with Keith Eidig from theboxingscene.com. Please go ahead.
Hi, Adrian. Adrien Broner was just saying on his version of the call that he discussed the Ed Browne situation with you after Ed's tragedy, and he tried to help you through it. Can you elaborate on that and maybe how much he was able to maybe help you through that?
No, well, I mean, me and Adrien Broner, we did develop a friendship during camp, and it was a mutual respect. Obviously, during this promotion, there has been respect. I mean, he was there for me just like I was there for him. When he was having his scare, on the social media that everybody was worried about him, I definitely reached out to his people and told them, I was there for him, and I know he was there for me too during my tragic loss of my good friend Ed Browne. It's like at the end of the day, we're both men, and we're both humans, So when things like what have happened to both of us in the past few months happen, you kind of put the business and the boxing out the window, and you worry about the person. So I mean, yeah, I appreciate him for that.
What were some of the things maybe that he told you to kind of, I know nothing, can really obviously can bring Ed back or anything like that, but what was he able to tell you that maybe helped you a little bit?
No, well, I mean, he just knowing that he was there, that was it. I mean, I had to get through that myself. I mean, I didn't need nobody to tell me anything. Ed Browne was that was my best friend of boxing. That was my little brother of boxing. I know him the most out of anybody in the boxing world, just because we spent the last 12 years pretty much side by side here in Chicago. He was pretty much always running it in the juniors as the lower weights, and then once he got older, he was right under me at 132, and I was representing at 141. So I mean, we were like I said, we were brothers of the ring, and we spent countless days here at the gym. I used to pick him up, I used to drop him off. I used to always tell him, stay out of trouble, and I mean, like Adrian said, there's some people that you can't save, but I mean. That doesn't change that I lost a good friend and a good man. He was just a great kid. He was always smiling, always positive vibes from him, and it was a terrible loss for boxing.
What's the name of the gym that you train at in Chicago?
Garfield Park. It's Park District on the west side of Chicago.
Okay. Thank you very much, Adrian.
No problem.
Our next question is going to come from Dan Raphael from ESPN. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hello, Adrian.
How's it going, Dan? Huge fan over here. I've always read your stuff.
Thank you very much. Adrian, one of the things I asked Adrien Broner about was the well-known fact that you guys have known each other a long time, have sparred together a lot. Adrian spoke about it, a little bit in the interview he did with Mark Kriegel and the Showtime video that was put out. That was I guess put out in the last couple of days. But anyway, talked about those sparring sessions you guys have had with each other. Can you give me your view of how those went and what was it like getting in there with a guy? By all accounts, a lot of competitive rounds between you guys.
Yeah, no, it was a great experience. I mean, it reaffirmed to myself that I belonged in that level. I mean, they were very competitive sparring sessions. They were very exciting, and I mean, it was like I said, it was just a reminder that I belong at this level. I helped prepare Juan Manuel Marquez for his fight against Juan the Big Bull Diaz when he beat him by knockout, and it was just like I said, a reminder that I belong at that level because as I was competitive with Juan Manuel Marquez, I was just as competitive with Adrien Broner. And just what I got from the sparring was like, if we ever fought, it's going to be a very entertaining, very competitive, very high action fight. So I mean, that's definitely what I'm expecting next Saturday. It's going to be exciting for boxing. It's going to be exciting for Showtime and the people there in Cincinnati, Ohio. So it's just going to be a great fight. I have a feeling like we're going to make it classic.
So other than the fact that by being in the ring with him and I guess acquitting yourself pretty well with him when you sparred together, which would give you confidence, I would imagine, when you fight him next week. Beyond the confidence you may have from having done that, when you spar with a guy that much, do you think it means anything when the bell rings in the real fight, or does that all go out the window? Or do you think that maybe, hey, you spent a lot of time with him, you kind of know certain moves he has, some little nuance that might be lost on somebody that hadn't ever seen the guy before? What's your take on that?
No, yeah, I am definitely old school, and I think that goes out the window when we're under the bright lights, smaller gloves, no headgear. It's going to be free for all, and may the best man win, and the best man will win that night. It's going to, like I said, it's sparring is completely different from the fights. The show and the lights and just the atmosphere. So I mean, it's I'm not banking on the sparring sessions we had. I just know that I can compete with him and that I can beat him, and I know he feels the same way about me. So I mean, that's why we're in this fight. And it's gonna be an electrifying night, February 18th.
Now, I think most people would look at the records that both of you guys have and say, for Adrien Broner, who's won world titles in 4 weight classes and fought some pretty big names, that this is not the biggest fight he's had. It's important for him because it's the next one, but not his biggest fight. Where if you take a look at the Adrian Granados resume, Adrien Broner is pretty much the biggest name you'll have fought. And sometimes that can tip the balance. Maybe he doesn't take it quite as seriously because he's had much bigger fights. Somebody like yourself, what a victory against Broner would mean. What would a victory against Adrien Broner mean then for you? Because that would be it's not a world title fight, but it's a pretty big victory for you if you get it.
Yeah, no, it would be a huge victory for me. I definitely believe it could change my life, the life of my family, and life of my teammates. I plan on coming out with that victory. However, I'm not letting, I understand the odds and the way that they're stacking it up, but I mean, I've been in there with some great fighters myself, Leonardo Tyner, Kermit Cintron, gold medalist Olympic, Felix Diaz, Frankie Gomez, undefeated Brad Solomon, Amir Imam. So, I mean, of course, they don't amount to the, Adrien Broner is a different caliber of fighter, but however, I haven't been in there with a number of bums either. And I've got some thick skin myself because, I mean, a lot of the losses that I have, I know I won them, and the 2 draws, I know I won those. A lot of people feel like I could easily be undefeated, but, I've always been the B-side, and I've always had the odds stacked up against me. So, I mean, I just got to, thrive in the underdog position, which I plan to. And, yeah, I mean, this is definitely the biggest fight of my career, and I plan on taking full advantage of it.
All right, Adrian, thank you very much for your answers, and I appreciate it, and best of luck against the other Adrian.
Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Our next question is going to come from Bob Veland from the USA Today. Please go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, Adrian?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good. Thanks. Dan asked a couple of questions I wanted to ask you, but I will say that your win over Imam was really big for you. I know that you've said it definitely wasn't a fluke, and I certainly saw that in the fight. But your last fight was a decision against a guy who was coming in off 7 consecutive losses in Ariel Vasquez. Was there a letdown in that fight after beating Imam, or what was the deal?
No, I mean, I was working on some different things. I wanted to get my rounds in. However, I did suffer an accidental headbutt, and I was actually sick with diarrhea actually for that fight. I actually had to use the washroom the whole day after the weigh-ins. There was somehow I forgot. It's no excuse. It's just it was my own fault. There was a yogurt that I had that was expired, and it just didn't fit well. So I pretty much was going to the washroom. Even one last time, I had to go, before I went out to fight. So it was just I was very dehydrated, and there's just a lot of things that people don't know about that fight. But either way, I got my rounds in. Once I got going, I got sharp again and just got back to work. And Ariel came to fight. He knew this was a good opportunity for him to get another good payday. But, there was an accidental headbutt, and I was suffering from diarrhea during that fight. But, I did finish the fight, and I won, and that's all that it matters.
Okay. What makes you think that you can beat Broner? You know him really well. You've sparred with him so often. What is it in your mind that makes you believe that you can beat him?
I just believe I'm a better fighter. He's a tremendous fighter, a tremendous talent. I just believe that people are underestimating my talent, and they only see me as a one-sided fighter and one type of style and one type of skill set. But there's plenty that the boxing world doesn't know about me, and I plan on giving them a hint of that February 18th.
All right, sir. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, and best of luck in the fight.
Thank you so much, sir.
Our next question is going to come from Mitch Aberson from theringtv.com. Please go ahead.
Hey, thanks a lot. Hey, Adrian, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Great. Adrian, what weight is the fight at? Is it at 140? Is it at 147? Can you clarify what weight this fight will take place at?
Yeah, it is actually at 147. It was 142, but however, it's 147 now, and that's just the way it is.
So what happened? So the fight was initially made at a catch weight of 142, and then did Broner's side ask for it to be at welterweight?
Yes, they did, and You know, it was kind of a take it or leave it offer. So you know, I'm not going to pass up on this opportunity, and accept it.
Did they offer you any money for it, or did they just?
Hey, Mitch,
Yeah.
hang on. This is Kelly. Why don't you? Unfortunately, we don't have the promoters on today because it is so busy for About Billions, and that's Ravone, Little John. So I think at this point you just take it back to him. We can get you in touch with him to explain that.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
Can I ask one last question to Adrian?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just okay. So the fight's going to be at welterweight. Broner has spoken about his newfound maturity and how he's a different guy, and it's going to be a lot different heading into this fight. What do you think about that? Do you buy that this is a new Adrien Broner? Do you think it's going to be the old Broner? What do you think about all the talk that he's a different guy for this fight?
I mean, that's all up to him. I don't worry about who I'm fighting, or what their preparations or what they're doing. I have to worry about myself and that I'm the best Adrian Granados that night. I don't, good for him if that's what it is, and if it's not, I mean, he's still a good guy. I know him as a real man and as a true competitor. So, more power to him if, he's turning a new page in his life, and God bless him.
Great. Okay. Thanks, Adrian. Good luck.
No problem. Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Lim Satterfield from the Premier Boxing Champions. Please go ahead.
Hey, Adrian, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm doing all right. Hey, listen, why, if Adrian knows how tough this fight is going to be, and you guys are capable of being so emotionally close, and he knows how good you are, why would he choose you to fight in such a difficult situation coming off of a 10-month layoff? And what does that say about him? What does that say? Do you respect that? And what does it say?
No, I totally respect that. I think he's a great, true competitor. I know he was brought up the right way, but once he got to the elite level, he took a lot of tough fights that he didn't have to. Marcos Maidana being one, Sean Porter being another one, myself included. He's a true competitor. He wants to be a great fighter. He wants to be remembered as a great fighter, and that's why I respect him for taking this fight. It's at a time when really nobody was trying to fight me. There were talks of so many fights, and that would get on and fall off, get on and fall off. I've been going through hell this past year waiting on a big fight, and finally I got one. And although we do have a friendship and a mutual respect, I mean, we know we're in a business and we're not in a team sport, so there can only be one. And I mean, I believe for him too, one of the fights he was talking about was Ricky Burns, and at the time I was the highest ranked available fighter because I know number 1 and 2 had fights already set up, and I was ranked number 3 by the WBA. Now I'm number 5, but either way, this is a true a true attribute to his competitive spirit. Like I said, a lot of people didn't want to fight me, and I was calling people out, and him included, and he accepted it. So this is great, and it shows how much of a real man he really is.
So you don't think there's anything about, okay, he's going to be good, but there's going to be a certain point where I'll be able to beat him. You just think he wants to bring out the best in himself and put it on the line, or do you think there's a part of him that says, I know he's good, but I have a little bit better?
It's a little bit of both. He wants me to bring out the best in him, and obviously if he's taking this fight, he believes he can beat me. So that's what it is, and I appreciate what Showtime is doing, putting on great fights and giving me this opportunity, and definitely giving boxing the best versus the best.
My last question is, you had said that, or he had said that when Ed Browne was killed, you guys were in camp together. Were you in camp together, and if so, what camp was that?
Yeah, no, that was the first time Ed was shot. I was in camp with him during the Maidana fight. Ed was shot at different times, and the first time it was while I was in camp with him, and he did look out. They all knew that Ed was very close to me. They all knew Ed Browne too. yeah, I mean, you know, he looked out. He played cool of him, you know. But I mean, yeah, it didn't take away from that was my guy. That was my. We're like the black and brown twins here in Chicago. You know, we were always at the same shows together. We were always happy to see each other. If he seen me and I seen him, there was always a smile. So you know, it's different here at the gym that we train at, because he was the heart of this neighborhood. And I mean, I feel like now I have this huge burden, because everybody who sees me now thinks of Ed. You know, they're like, oh man, Ed always spoke so highly about you. You know, and I feel like I have to be twice as great for both of us now.
And the last thing is, can you characterize your give and take sparring sessions with each other? He characterized them as some days you're on, sometimes he's on. Was it blood? You know, and do you think that will carry over into this fight?
Yeah, the way I take it is they were exciting, electrifying sparring sessions. You know, we were putting on the show for the camp, and yeah, some days he was bloody, some days I was bloody, some days we were both bloody. It was just two dogs trying to get at each other, and you know, like, you know, the jaw japping started letting go, and I was quiet at first, but I mean, I'm from the neighborhood too, I'm from the street too. You know, you can't get too tough with me. I'm raised in Chicago, you know, where murder can't go the world right now. So I mean, I'm like, I ain't taking too lightly when somebody's coming at me so hard. So you know, I had some stuff to say back, and it was entertaining. You know, people. I actually got a lot more respect with that, because they're like, oh, okay, he's not going to take that, and he could talk some shit too. So, I mean, it was cool. Afterwards, yeah, it was, we would just shake hands and good work, and, you know, we would just chop it up. You know, we got to kick it outside of the ring too, and he was a real cool dude. Like I said, everybody's got their own outlook on him. I seen him as a cool-ass dude. He was down to earth, funny, and, you know, it was a good camp, and, I mean, it was electrifying sparring, and it's going to make for an electrifying fight. And, I mean, sparring is going to be completely different from the fight, because, I mean, we got less leather and no headgears, and it's just going to be me or him. We'll see what happens.
Adrian, thank you so much, and good luck in the fight.
Okay.
No problem. Thank you, sir.
We have one more question for you, Adrian, then we're going to let you go. So one more question, operator, before we end the call.
Okay, our last question is going to come from John Gatling from the New York Fight. Please go ahead.
Hi, Adrian. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing, sir?
What's up, dog? Good, man. Hey, listen, so getting back to the 147 and everything else, have you ever fought there before?
Yeah, plenty of times. I fought Leonardo Steiner there. I fought Kermit Cintron there, Brad Solomon. Also, I fought the BKB fight with Jesus Sotocaraz. The weigh-in actually was 150 for that fight.
Okay, so given that it was supposed to be at 142 and the fact that Adrian wanted it to be at 147, are you looking at that as a situation where maybe he couldn't come down to 142 and maybe see that as an advantage? Are you going to come in at 147 or are you going to come in lighter than that?
We'll see what my body naturally tapers off at. I mean, I know I was hearing, you know, I believe he got sick, and that's what kind of threw off his camp. I mean, I was sick too as well. You know, I was still planning on making 142, but I mean, he just made it easier on both of us. And I mean, I still expect a competitive and even fight, and it's gonna be a great fight.
Okay, great. That was it. All right. Do you want to have any last thoughts, Adrian, before we let you go and wrap this call up? And everybody, again, we look forward to seeing the big showdown between the Adrians on Saturday, February 18th, live on Showtime, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time from Cincinnati, Ohio. Adrian, any last thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. Win, lose, or draw, just know I'm coming to win. It's going to be a great fight, action-packed. Adrian versus Adrian, the A versus the E, AB versus AG. It's just going to be a great competitive fight, and the best man will win.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us today, and look forward to a great bunch of fights coming in the next couple weeks. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. I'll disconnect and have a great day.